I'm going to pick one of the challenges of our time, which I think is important to everyone in this room, and that's the challenge of chinuch, our kids. So whether you're parents or grandparents, because our chinuch never ends. You know, some grandparents are like, I took care of my kids, I did my job, I'm done. We're never done, as we'll see tonight, from an amazing chidah on the importance of a grandmother and a grandfather. My generation, we did not have, most of us did not have grandparents because our parents had come out of the Holocaust and most of our grandparents didn't make it. So one of the greatest resources that we have today is that Baruch Hashem, we have young grandparents. And we'll talk about the role of a grandparent in chinuch. The grandparent is the place to go where it's nice and safe. And it's not the grandparents' job to discipline the children, but it is their job to be there. My father, Olav Shalom, who passed away a year after Mark's mother, used to always say to me, my chinuch of you will never end. Even when I'm not here anymore, I'll come back to you in a dream. I'll make sure that you're straight. So a person's chinuch never ends, and we're going to learn a chidah about it. We're going to talk a lot about chinuch tonight. This week's Parshat Toldot, talks about kids. So the pasuk starts like this. By Yitzchak, he was 40 years old when he married Rivka. And the Torah does something here, which is a little hard to understand. The Torah describes Rivka. Not he married Rivka the Tzadikista. The Torah says he married Rivka. You know who her father was? Besuel. Because there are young kids here, I'm not going to even explain to you how he got that name. But it comes from a really bad place, that he was called Besuel. She was from Padan Aram, a very bad place. And she was the sister of Lavan, a very bad guy. Why are you introducing to me, this is not good on a shidduch resume, by the way. Why is the Torah telling me this? Just tell me, he married a girl named Rivka, Tzadikista. So Rashi says, to learn zchus on her. Even though, like Noach, even though her brother was Lavan, even though she came from a terrible place, even though her father was Besuel, she still ended up being Rivka. That's one Dvar Torah, that's one pshat. There's another very important pshat here. And that is that the Torah is telling us before Yaakov and Esav are born that there's some really bad spiritual DNA that Rivka is carrying. She's coming from Padan Aram. Her father is Besuel, and her brother is Lavan. This is very important to know, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay. The next pasuk. Vayeta Yitzchak laHashem l'neichach ishtay. The two of them davened to Hashem. They had no children. Ki akara hi. She was the problem. She couldn't have children. Vayeta loy Hashem ata Rivka ishtay. And Hashem listened to him, and she became pregnant. Rashi says, what does it mean, l'nochach? That they were on opposite sides of the porch. She was on one side of the porch, he was on the other side of the porch. Why we need to know that they're on opposite sides of the porch. But l'nochach also means they were opposite each other. Now let me ask you all a question. A girl comes to the Gadol Hador, a wife and a husband, and they're like, we don't have children for 15 years. Rav Chaim Kanievsky, could you give us a bracha? And he says to this couple who has no children for 15 years, this is what you need to do. You need to go to the Kotel Maravi on the last night of Hanukkah, by Chatzos, and both of you need to daven like you never davened before, like it's Ne'il on Yom Kippur. Cry your eyes out, but if you do it on the last night of Hanukkah, Zois Hanukkah, I guarantee you, you will have a child this year. There you go. They get this exact, solar clock that they're mamash on the second. It's 12:01.42.2. It has to be exact. And they're standing there, it's mamash ne'ilah. They don't have children. They're davening and they're praying, and I'm going to give my children over to you, Hashem. And they're crying. She is crying, because women cry much more. She is crying. She wants a child. She's crying like you never saw anyone cry. But kachaya, she gets pregnant. They have a child. They make a bris. They come to Rav Chaim, the two of them. Rav Chaim doesn't see women, but in this story, the two of them come to Rav Chaim. And they're like, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, thank you so much. This is our baby. Could you give it a bracha? You remember you told us last year we had a bris. We invited you, but you didn't. Whatever. It's hard for you. But we just want a bracha. Thank you so much. It's unbelievable. We're telling everyone about the skula, midnight, it's Hanukkah. Thank you so much. Rav Chaim turns to Miriam, who was the mother of the child. Miriam, I have to tell you something. Yes, Rav Chaim, what? You cried a lot, didn't you? Oh, I never cried like that in my life. You davened hard, didn't you? I never davened that hard in my life. Well, guess what? Hashem didn't listen to one word you said. You know why you have a baby? Because he listened to your husband, not you. Would anyone in this room believe that of a Gadol Hadar? No way. Even if Eliyahu Navi came to you, Rav Chaim, and told you that for whatever reason Hashem didn't listen to her, you would never tell her that. You would say, Mazel Tov, both of you have a baby, Baruch Hashem, Hashem listened to your tefillahs. You wouldn't hurt her. She davened so hard to tell her that. What's going on in this pasuk? How are you going to learn this Shabbos? How are you going to learn this in the Chumash? You're going to sit there and say, especially the ladies are not going to be happy with this one. They got onto a roof. They both davened for children. Hashem didn't listen to a word she said. He listened to him. And she became pregnant. The Torah would embarrass her in this way. Let's say Hashem listened to him because he's a tzaddik ben tzaddik. And she's a tzaddik ben rasha. Let's say that's true. It is true. Why are you telling us that? Just say, and Hashem listened to them. How do you learn this pasuk? That's what God would do? Embarrass her in front of all of us? So the answer is that we're learning this totally wrong. L'nochach ishto. They had a disagreement. They were davening for two different things. This is what Reb Shimshon Pincus brings this down, but listen to this. Yitzchak said the following. Hashem, if you give me a child, they didn't know they were going to have twins. If you give me a child, of course I want a tzaddik. But if you don't give me a tzaddik, give me a rasha. Give me a guy that's black to the bone in sin. Don't give me a kid who's shushu. Don't give me a kid who learns, talks by davening, but he goes to davening, don't give me a kid that's all mixed up. Give me a kid that's either good or bad to the bone. Why? Why did Yitzchak daven for that? Because Yitzchak knew that if you have a kid that's good, that's great. If you have a kid that's bad to the bone, you can change him. Because his conscience is bothering him that he's doing the wrong thing. Where did Yitzchak see this? He had a brother, half-brother, Yishmael, bad, Para-Adam, ISIS. Para-Adam stood at the corner and robbed and stole from everyone. But in the end, Yishmael did tshuva. So he saw that a kid that's really totally bad, you can flip him, you can change him. A kid that's mixed up and does half and half, so his conscience doesn't bother him. Yeah, I do this wrong, but I do this right, so I don't have to change. I had kids in my class that used to come to shul by car. And my 8th grade boys in Yeshiva Crown Heights. And they asked me, Rabbi, is it better to not come to shul at all or to drive to shul? And it was a very big shiloh. And I went to Moshe Feinstein at that time. And Moshe Feinstein said, you cannot tell them to drive to school. But if they drive to school, you don't have to tell them no. But you cannot tell a kid, drive to shul on Shabbos. You can't. You're not allowed to. But if the kid's coming to, don't say anything. If he asks you, don't answer. And I thought to myself, the kid who doesn't come to shul at all, he's going to feel guilty. I don't come to shul. Maybe he'll become Orthodox. The kid who comes to shul by car and he has this Kiddush Friday night, and then they go to the movies, he feels, I keep Shabbos. I mean, I do something for Shabbos. You know, in Bali Tshuva that comes from nowhere, they never did anything, they jump into Judaism because I never did anything. The people who do halfway, it's very hard to change them because they do go to shul. So there's a microphone, but I'm Jewish and I celebrate the holiday. So I didn't know what to answer. It's a very hard thing to answer. Yitzchak felt, I don't want someone who's in between. Let him not be anything. If he's not anything, he'll come back. Rivka said, no way. No way can you daven for a kid that's going to be all the way bad. I know different. I have a brother, Lavan, as the pasuk says. I have a brother, Lavan. I have a father, Besuel. I come from a city of all bad. Avraham Avinu couldn't change any of them. Lavan is still a Russia. Besuel died of Russia. Padna Roma is a bunch of lowlives. So I don't know. Yeah, Yishmael, you got lucky. But the bad people in my life, they didn't turn good. If you're going to give me a kid, either good, that's great. If he's not good, give me a kid that's at least some good. They had this argument. So they went into their corners. And Rivka said, Hashem, give me a tzaddik. But if you don't give me a tzaddik, give me a shushu. Give me a kid that's gray. And Yitzhak went into his corner and said, no, I don't want gray. I want a kid that's either good or bad. And Hashem says the pasuk, not Hashem, listen to his tefillah. Hashem listened to his tefillah and said, he's right. Yitzchak's right. Either good or totally bad, you'll be able to change. Gray is much tougher. Vayeta lo. Listen to the words, it's amazing. This is amazing. Vayeta lo Hashem. Hashem listened to him. Now, Rivka has twins, but she doesn't know she has twins. She thinks she has one kid. And Beruach HaKodesh, Yitzchak says, Rivka, my wife, Hashem, came to me and told me that he listened to me. So we're going to have this kid that's either going to be very good or very bad. Okay? Hashem listened to you. But he's right to Rabban and Bekirba. She goes past the movie theater or church, whatever you want to, whatever, and the baby tries to get out. Then they go past the yeshiva, and the baby tries to go out. She's like, something's very wrong here. She thinks it's one kid. 1 second. Hashem said he listened to him. If he listened to him, my kid is shushu. My kid doesn't know what he's doing. He wants to go to yeshiva, and he wants to go to church. He wants to go to the ashram, then he wants to go to the shul. But Hashem said he listened to Yitzchak. But he chose to go to the kirba, but time in Cain, loma ze anoichi. If my kid is gray and he doesn't know what he's doing, then why did Hashem listen to me? Hashem said he listened to Yitzchak. So she didn't know what's going on over here. Listen to the Lashon, because she went to Yeshiva Shem Ve'ever, but that's not what the pasuk says. Vatelech lidreis es Hashem. When I heard this year, I jumped out of my chair. She went to be doiresh to figure out what Hashem said. I thought you said black or white, but I got this kid who's jumping out in both places. So she went to find out, Hashem, what did you say? I thought you said you're listening to my husband. Oh, Vayayim Hashem. So Yishem Ve'ever said, Shnei Goyim V'vitneich. Hashem did listen to your husband. He didn't listen to you. You see, you got 2 kids. You don't have a shushu kid. You don't have a kid in the gray. You got a tzaddik, and you got one that's bad to the bone. Shnei Goyim B'vitnech. Hashem did listen to Yitzchak. You didn't get 2 kids that are mixed up. You got a good and you got a bad. V'rav Yavai Zecharia. But in the end, the older one will serve the younger one, which is that Esav, who's older, will serve Yaakov. But I heard something very beautiful. All of us have Shnei Goyim B'vitnech. We all have twins inside us. We have an evil inclination that whispers us to do Averis, and we have the Yetzer Tov, a good inclination. We all, our life, have Vayitzreitzim Banim B'kirba. They want us to go to the church, not the church, but I'm saying to the wrong things, and then there's a part of us that wants to go to the good things. We always have this battle within us. But Hashem gives us a bracha. And he says that the older one in your fight, in all our fights inside, the older one is going to serve the younger one. What does that mean? Who is the older one? The Yetzer Hara or the Yetzer Tov in each one of us? The Yetzer Hara is given to us when we're born or when we're conceived. The Yetzer Tov, if you're a girl, comes when you're 12 years old, or when you're 13. So the Yetzer Hara is already 13 years old by a boy before the Yetzer Tov shows up. The Yetzer Hara is 12 years old by a girl before your Yetzer Tov shows up. The Rav, the older one, in the end, the Rav, Yahweh, the older one, which is the Yetzer Hara, will end up serving your Yetzer Tov if you do the work. So this is a very interesting argument, because if I were praying for his child, I would think that I would pray for a kid that shushu is better than a kid that's totally off the derech. But I have to tell you that many times the kids that I deal with, I don't believe in that. I don't think it's a therapeutic saying. I don't know who came up with the saying that, let the kid hit bottom and watch him bounce. I don't believe that. You hit bottom of a well, you splatter. You don't bounce. If you can catch the kid before they hit the bottom, catch the kid before they hit the bottom. But many times, children and students that I thought were so far away, not in the gray area, came back 100%. So this was an argument, in theory, between these two. Of course, if you pray, I guess I would pray that I don't want a kid that's bad, but it has a lot to do with, it's a shir I'm not giving tonight, it's a shir called rationalization. And when you rationalize, which is the gray area, right? In the white area, you don't rationalize, and in the black area, you don't rationalize. But in the mid area, we rationalize, and we make things that could be really wrong, and I've come across things that people do that are so wrong that they sit in front of me and they rationalize it. Not only it's not wrong, but it's like they're a tzaddik. Rationalization, the reason that Sodom, Avraham Avinu never went to try to be Makar of them. He went all over the world to try to be Makar. He wasn't Makar of Sodom. Why? Do you know that Sodom had a religion? A very good religion. Sodom said the following: if you come collecting money and someone gives you money, they took that person who gave money and they killed them. Why? Because if someone's poor, who made him poor? God made them poor. You think you're better than God? You're giving him money? You are against God. It's blasphemy, death. And the man who collected, if he was tall, they cut his legs off. If he was short, they stretched him on a bed. What kind of midah keneged midah? In their Torah it said, if you're collecting money, means you're not happy with your life, right? So I guess you're not happy with your height either. So if you're tall, you probably want to be short. We'll cut the legs off. And if you're short, we'll stretch you out. They had a Torah, a religion. They rationalized everything that they did. The girl that they smeared with honey that the bees bit till she died. They said, you want to be sweet? You want to be nice? Let's show you what happens to a person who's really sweet. So they smeared her with honey and put her by a beehive, and that's finally when Hashem decided to destroy Sodom. Avraham Avinu said, I cannot be Makar of people who don't think they're doing anything wrong. So when he asked God, is there 50, is there 40, is there 30, is there 20, is there 10? Why are you asking? Get on a horse, go to Sodom, make a minion, see who shows up. If you don't get 10 guys, you have your answer. So why didn't he go? Because he had a different question to Hashem. He said, it's like ISIS. It's the same thing. It's like ISIS believes that in killing people, they're doing God's job and they're going to heaven. You can't fix people like that. If you're a murderer and you know you're a murderer, I'm a bad guy. You might do tshuva. But if I'm killing in the name of Allah, I'm killing in the name of God, I'm doing a mitzvah, that's the religion, that's the rationalization. So Avram said to Hashem, they got this whole religion in Sodom. Do they really mean it? What came first? Their hatred for people, torture, and to hurt people? Or the religion came first? I can't know that. Only God can know that. What's in their heart? Are there 50 people in Sodom that really think they're doing the right thing because they're messing with God's... A doctor was killed. You came and healed somebody, they killed you. God made someone sick. Where do you have a right to heal someone? So they had this whole religion. Avraham Avinu said, I can't look into Hashem. Are there 10 guys that really believe that this is the truth? And Hashem said, no. They're murderers. They're torturers. They're rapists. They're killers. They made a religion to make it right. And now Rabbi turned around. He said no more. They rationalized. The gray person, the person that's in the middle, has a lot of rationalization. Yitzchak said, it doesn't mean all bad. It means that he understands that he's doing wrong. I want a kid that if he's doing right, great. But if he's doing wrong, he should understand that he's doing wrong. If he understands that he's doing wrong, he'll change. And that's why we have to talk to our kids. Not just punish kids. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Because when you take a kid, I don't know, I didn't live in this time, but this new generation, you put him in a room. What is it called? Something time? Time out. We did that in football. I don't know what time out, right? You put him in a room and it's time out, and you close the door and you leave the kid in the room. What kind of therapeutic help? What does that mean? The kid doesn't even know what he did wrong. Time out means you go into the room with him and you sit down. You know, Shefa, do you know why you're in this room? Do you understand why you shouldn't have done this to mommy or what you did? Time out means I'm putting you in a room. That's it. You have no understanding what you did wrong. If you don't understand what you did wrong, how are you ever going to change and do that right? We don't have time. We don't have time. We're so busy. We put you time out. But I don't know where that came from. I have no idea where that came from. But I wasn't brought up that way, and I don't know how that works.